All right, welcome back to Broncos Country Tonight. Thrilled to be joined by Matt Boyer and Aric DiLalla from DenverBroncos.com, Broncos TV. Fellas, Matt, great job last night. How are you, man?
Thank you. A little tired this morning, as I'm sure we all are, but gosh, what an exciting night.
Absolutely. Aric, I mean, what was some of the things that stood out for you? Were you a little surprised to see CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy available at 15? At least I was.
Yeah, Ryan, even as things kind of started to fall the way they did with a run on tackles, three quarterbacks going in the top 10, I kind of refused to let myself get my hopes up that one of those receivers was going to be the pick. I thought, maybe John Elway's going to trade back, maybe Javon Kinlaw's going to be there at 15, but then when it fell the way it did with Jeudy and Lamb both there at 15, you had to feel like he was going to take a receiver, and those are two really good options to choose from.
Before we talk too much about Jerry Jeudy, how old school Raider was it to see them take Henry Ruggs ahead, the number one wide receiver off the board? I love the shaking of the head, Aric, because, I think a lot of people felt like that. Understood, like Henry Ruggs, if he was on this team, it would be fantastic. And the fact that the Broncos now have to cover him twice a year for however long is going to be a problem. No question. They already had one with Tyreek Hill. You got one now with Henry Ruggs. But still, Matt, I mean, the Raiders going that route, it felt like maybe they probably could have used CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy ahead.
Yeah, I think that the consensus was coming out that Jerry Jeudy was the best route runner that anybody's seen in quite some time. And when you see a rare talent like that, come on the board, everybody talked about how deep the wide receiver class is. And I get it. We mentioned the big three, Lamb, Jeudy, and Ruggs. It was kind of pick your flavor, as John Elway said earlier this week. So I think that, that's Gruden's mentality, to kind of go speed first. He likes speed on the edge. So Ruggs was a fit. But with Jerry Jeudy, I think the Broncos wanted a guy who could do a little bit of everything and do it really, really well. And I think, Jeudy fits that mold, being able to play inside and outside.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I want to get to here, Aric, the compliment to Courtland Sutton. And you heard it last night when John Elway spoke with the media. He said he wanted a receiver that's going to make Courtland Sutton better. And one of the things that really stands out to me is that Jerry Jeudy's used to being a number one. He's used to having that kind of attention at the SEC level. How important and how impactful can that be for Courtland?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can't overstate what that'll do for Courtland, because you can't now just stick a safety over the top and bracket him on every single play, because you've got to respect Jerry Jeudy. And that's part of the reason why I loved that pick is, Ruggs is great. He's got the speed, but he's unproven. He was never the top receiver on his own team. And so you got the proven commodity in Jerry Jeudy. And yeah, look, he's going to make corners go one-on-one with Courtland Sutton. And if they still choose to put a safety over the top, maybe they can do that. But then Judy's going to be open, or Noah Fant's going to be open, or Melvin Gordon out of the backfield or lined up in the slot. I mean, this offense just, you think about Judy's skill set, that's one thing, but the attention factor of what it does for everybody else, that's where it really changes things.
And ultimately, go ahead, Matt.
Well, I was just going to say, it's funny too, because we had Courtland Sutton on our live show last night, and he got to talk to Jerry, and he might have been more excited than anybody that Jeudy was coming into his wide receiver room. I think, one of the other things that Courtland said last night was Judy's route running ability is really going to set him apart. That's one of the things that Courtland said, getting over that rookie learning curve, you got to be able to run sharp routes. And you really, going from college to pro, it's a whole different ballgame. So I think just, based on Courtland's reaction, I think Jerry's going to fit in just fine next to him in that wide receiver room.
It's interesting coming into the draft, fellas. We really thought there's a lot of different ways they could go, but we all kind of settled on wide receiver eventually. Aric, why do you think that is?
Yeah, I loved the idea of trading back a little bit and getting a linebacker there at Kenneth Murray. I was hurt to see him go to the Chargers. That defense there is pretty impressive. But listen, I think wide receiver was the right move, because we talked about these top three guys and all the talent that was going to be left in round two. But a lot of guys went off the board yesterday. Jalen Reagor went off the board, Justin Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk, and there are still some talented options in round two. But I think by the time the Broncos would have picked at 46, man, maybe not the type of guy you would have been looking for. So the fact they were able to get Jerry Jeudy at 15, one, speaks to a need that you filled in a very big way, and two, just the gap of talent that you would have gotten otherwise is pretty significant.
It's always the constant reminder, isn't it, Matt, that we could do a million mocks, and in the end, these teams, they're going to structure these things however they ultimately feel. Whatever we deem is a reach, they deem as a perfect fit for their team. Let's talk about what the Broncos need to accomplish throughout the remainder of the draft. They get their number one wide receiver, or at least a compliment to Courtland Sutton. What are some other position groups that you'd like to see in day 2, day 3?
I think when you first look at what's available, there's a lot of talent in interior offensive line, center. The Broncos picked up Graham Glasgow, but we heard from Coach Vic Fangio and said, that probably isn't going to be his position long term. They like him at the guard spot, so could be a center. Defensive back. There's a lot of talent. I know Aric likes Bryce Hall out of Virginia, so
good choice.
That could be another name. So I think you're going to look at positions like DB, center, maybe linebacker. Patrick Queen and Kenneth Murray are off the board, but I do think there could be some sleeper finds towards the 3rd and 4th rounds for the linebacker spot. So center, defensive back, and linebacker would probably be the 3 that I would look closely at.
I'm with you on that. Anything you want to add to that, Aric?
Yeah, I just think the way things fell, there's still a lot of talent at the cornerback position, especially with some of the picks teams made. I was a little surprised, to see Damon Arnett go to the Raiders there with their 2nd first-round pick. I think most people think that's a reach. So Jalen Johnson from Utah is a guy that I really am impressed with. And if you can get past his injury concerns, he's a really solid tackler. And that's what I look at cornerback for a Vic Fangio defense is, can you tackle? So Jalen Johnson's a guy I'm interested in. And then Trayvon Diggs, of course, another Alabama player, the younger brother of Stephon Diggs. He could be a nice pick there as well. And I think we've heard some whispers of wide receivers and running backs going in the immediate start of the 2nd round. And so the Broncos could be sitting there at 46, or maybe only have to move up a few spots to get a really talented cornerback. I would personally wait on interior offensive line until the 3rd round, or I think even the 4th round if needed. There's guys like Shane Lemieux, Logan Stenberg. There's talent there later. Matt Hennessy, if you're able to wait.
Yep, Matt Hennessy was definitely a name I was going to bring up. I think he could absolutely be a factor for the Broncos, even if it maybe year 1, but more like a developmental kind of guy.